1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California, home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising at KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you Black.
You ready?
Come on. It's the queen of royal badness.
It's time for the Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
He is my king, he is my one. Yes, he's my father, yes, he's my son. I can talk to him, cause he understands everything I go through and everything I am.
You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I am your host, Robin Ayers, with you guys Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. on your drive home. It's not too bad. Actually, Los Angeles, I don't know where y'all at, but y'all not on the freeway so much. It was a decent drive today. So hope you guys are having yourselves a lovely Tuesday. I am. If you're curious about that. I see you, Raw Squad, showing up already inside of our YouTube chat. You guys, there is no flyer today because we have something special lined up for you, and I'm so excited about that. Before we do, there is a birthday we're celebrating. Andy, I don't know if you knew, but it's Quavo's birthday from the Migos. He's 33 years old. Shout out to him. I know he's been through a lot in the very recent, things going on in his life, but a birthday is something to be celebrated. So congratulations and shout out to Quavo for that. Also, I did want to report this because I recently brought you guys a topic about Lizzo, who said she was quitting. Now, we didn't know what you were quitting, but we thought, of course, that you were quitting the music business, Lizzo. She says no. She says, nope. She basically says she's quitting all the negativity, all the things that she's being met with, and she's trying to give other people an opportunity and some inspiration to learn how to overcome negativity as well. But she says she is continuing to do her music. So good for you, Lizzo. We are happy. I think, all of her fans are excited to hear that. She's still going through some legal issues, but, we just want good for everybody. So, when the outcome happens, we will definitely make sure to bring you that on the Rob Report. What's up, Andy?
Sounds like she's done with the shenanigans.
She's done with the shenanigans.
Yeah, she's not going to be twerking at Laker games or anything like that anymore.
No,
that's what it sounds like.
I don't know.
Because that brings on the negativity. So she's trying to stay away from that. I guess she's just going to be calm and just going to be chill.
Well, it's a good point. Also, Azalea, she mentioned recently that Lizzo kind of brought this on herself by doing certain things like that. I mean, I say let the lady live. That's what I say. But anyway, I digress on all of that. I want to go ahead and get on with this show because it is a wonderful show that we have set for you today. I am so excited to have, this is my girl. She is in studio with us today. She is a producer, singer, which I'm actually recently finding out. She's a singer. She's an actress, which I knew about. She's all the things. She's a dot connector as well as a mentor. And that makes me pretty happy. She's also from Denver, Colorado by way of St. Louis. an executive producer of, she's got hits, y'all. She's got things that she's into, okay? And she does them very well. One example of that is she's the executive producer of hit TV show Johnson on Bounce TV, which, you know, I have a lot of love for. Please help me welcome Risha L. Archibald to the show. Hello to you, my love.
Hey, thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. I'm so happy we finally got you in here, Risha.
Yes,
this is my girl. And, you know, I'm so happy that we've connected, obviously. And Andy, but by the way, let me shout out Andy, because Andy played Brother. This is the song Brother, because Johnson.
It's perfect.
You see, he's always on theme.
See there?
I hope you noticed that I picked it up, Andy. What you was putting down, I picked it up.
I picked it up too. I was like, this is perfect.
It's a perfect song.
Yeah.
He's always thinking ahead like that, for sure. Before we get into all of the things that I want to talk about in your career and all of the things, how does someone from Denver, Colorado, by way of St. Louis, end up in a position like you are, having all the successes that you are? I mean, how do you make your way like that?
All I can say is God, honestly. Like, my trajectory to this point has been so you know, up and down and backwards and forwards and 10 steps up and 2 steps back. It's just been, you know, the typical story of people who come out here from wherever they're from trying to navigate it. I actually came out here to do background vocals and acting and voiceovers because I have a background in radio too.
Because you really have a nice voice.
Oh, thank you. So sweet. And so producing was never on my radar, but I have a background in supply chain logistics. And when you boil that down, that's project management, which is producing. Producing is project management. If you're able to, you know, have good people skills, if you're able to see a project from A to Z, you know, and all the things in between, like, you're a producer. And so really, again, it was just God opening up opportunities for me, taking away opportunities for me as well in some regard, and just opening doors and me being open and saying yes and no to things in order for me to get to this point.
Wow. Okay. As you know, we recently on the show, I know a dear friend of yours, Deshawn Player,
Yes.
she was on the show. And if you guys remember, she's the supervising producer for Freaknik. And we had such a great conversation. It was great to have her on. And we were discussing how she ended up where she is as well. And she was talking about going to school. And I was asking her, and I want to ask you as well, the question is, you see all these people out here, we're content creators, everybody has everything is easily accessible, whether you're a music producer, a singer, an actress, you can do all those things if you just pick up a camera. The skill set that you just talked about as far as producing, it's interesting. Many people may not think that. It sounds like such a glorified position, and I put respect on the name of a producer. I'm sure it's not easy, but is that a skill set that you just naturally develop, or is there something like going to school to become a producer?
Well, both, because I didn't go to school. I didn't go to film school. I actually have degrees in business. I have my MBA in management, and so again, my focus was music. I went to school for I got my business degree, but also had a minor in music. My goal going to college was to create the skills I needed to create, which is still a long-term goal, a school of music. And so I was like, okay, I need a music background to, you know, expound upon that, and then I need the business savvy. And so that was it. That's all I knew. But because I had a master's degree, I was able to get certain corporate and government jobs that really helped develop my skills. And also I'm a Delta, and of course, you know, in undergrad, we're literally running a business in college. And shout out to my chapter Alpha Theta. We ran the yard, period.
Come on
K,
now.
period, poo. We had all the money.
Yes.
Like, we ran that thing.
Yeah.
You know, it was a straight up and down business that we operated.
Wow.
And so those skills, in addition to all the other things I had done throughout, you know, high school and even middle school, like, my parents had us very involved in juggling a lot of things growing up and the arts. So I've always been a creative. And so it's like all those experiences in addition to my corporate and government experience, led to where I am today. And I remember, I remember like sitting at my desk at NBC Universal, because I worked there for about 3.5 years. In their home entertainment division for Universal Pictures. And I was like, God, what is this for? Like, I remember being 9 years old being like, I don't want to do no desk job. Like, I remember that. Like, I've never really had that kind of personality be tethered to something.
Yeah.
I've always been very, people oriented and, liking being around, out in the field, doing the thing, And so I was so grateful to get those kinds of jobs, though, because of my degrees and my experience. But I used to wonder, like, what is this for? And it wasn't until probably like 2018 when it clicked. And it was like, oh, this is why I had to go through all the things I went through for this moment as a producer.
Well, I'm glad that you say that, because I tell everyone, not that I don't know everybody's situation, but I believe this to be true for everyone, that all the pieces of the puzzle add up to the big picture in our lives. And so no matter what it is that you've done that you can't see, understand why you're there, no matter what that looks like, it will come into play at some point in your future. But
absolutely,
when we come forward, I'm actually going to talk more about where that has brought you from. And then also you talked about singing and your background and your desire to sing. And I want to know, I know you've done some things, right? We were recently talking about, but I want to know if you feel fulfilled in that, or as you mentioned, you still have some things that you want to accomplish in that world. But we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about Johnson, because, we have to talk about Johnson, because why not, but we'll do that when we come forward. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay there.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Eric Bellinger, hanging out right here with my family at the Rob Report. Keep it live.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistent scent, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
They said it couldn't be done. They said it was impossible. But mark my words, I did it. With Kohl's. That's right, I got everything I needed for my spring home refresh in one trip. I'm talking Sonoma Goods for Life bedding for 20% off. And Espresso Virtual Plus Deluxe for 30% off. Cuisinart cookware sets for 35% off. And Sonoma Goods for Life decor for 20% off. So if you want to get set for the season and save big, you can do it all at Kohl's. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Espresso and Cuisinart coupons do not apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Linking social justice and climate justice all year long. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Watch out! You got me! The galaxy is safe once again. In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
And we are here with one of my favorite people. She is such a light. She is so dope to me in so many ways. And we are sharing her story. It's more of a career interview. We are here with Risha L. Archibald. So glad that you're here in the studio, Risha, because you have, I feel like, an inspiring story. You certainly, just in our conversations, have inspired me just to kind of keep doing what I'm doing. Because, you know, we were talking before about what brought you here. And of course, you said God, you know what I mean? And even with all of the things that you had done in your background, your degrees and all of that, still, even though you worked in corporate America, have brought you to the place that you are. Mm-hmm. You mentioned, though, that you have a background in singing, mm-hmm. and you came out here actually to pursue that. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the things that you have achieved when it comes to singing have been met? Do you feel fully satisfied, or is that somewhere still in your future?
You know, I'm open to doing it. Listen, I want to use all my gifts. Like, when I leave this earth, I want to leave empty. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to have to meet with God and him be like, well, why ain't you do? I gave you this gift, that gift, this gift, that gift.
Come on now, yeah.
And you only did 2 of those. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I was scared, or because I just didn't know how to do it? Mm-hmm. No, ma'am. Mm-hmm. The excuses are not going to work for him. You know what I'm saying? And so, I'm here to do all of it. Yeah. And I love that I have experience now as an executive producer, because in that space, I'm really able to use all my gifts. And shout out to Cheo Coker and Charles Murray. I work with Cheo, and they're both my mentors. And Cheo was the creator of Luke Cage. Charles Murray was also one of the EPs on that show, mm-hmm. who brought me on to the project back in 2018. And it was in watching them in those roles, doing literally everything, that showed me it's possible. Because, you know, a lot of times I think people put you in boxes. Yeah. And they say you're doing too much. For those people who don't know how to juggle things, when they see people who know how to juggle things, they're like, girl, you're doing too much. Yeah. So that's why I don't really talk about a lot of the things that I be doing. Because I know what I'm capable of, mm-hmm. and I don't want anybody being in my ear or in my head. Mm-hmm. You know, just my way of silencing the noise. You know what I'm saying? And keeping some things to myself, because as we know, not everybody has our best interest at heart. Yeah. And so I keep a lot of things to myself. So you will see, like, there are a lot of people who know me as a studio person when I used to work at Universal. There are people who know me as a singer. There are people who know me as an actor. There are people who know me as a producer. Not a lot of people know me as all the things. Mm-hmm. And so I keep it very compartmentalized, because I know that people think it's too much, because it's too much for them. It's not too much for me. Mm-hmm. God, like, prepared me for this whole lifestyle my entire life, because my parents had us in so many things at the same time. You know, so that juggling act is not for everybody, but I think a lot of times, you know, people put their own issues or thinking on you. Absolutely. Unintentionally, a lot of times, but that's what happens. So I you know, I look at my position as an executive producer as like the catch-all, because, you know, I've always had a knack for helping people get jobs. As an executive producer, I'm able to help people get jobs. As an executive producer, I'm able to, you know, help with casting. I'm able to give notes on scripts. I'm able to manage these processes, which I've been doing my entire, you know, professional career since 2006. You know, I'm able to pull music onto our shows and push for placements from people I know and love who do phenomenal music. Yeah. And so I'm literally using everything. And then sometimes I'm able to act on a show, or do a voiceover on a show, or sing on a show. Like, it just all it's all encompassing.
Everything that you're talking about right now, just by the way, sounds like God, right?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like God. Everything that you want to do to be able to I mean, literally,
Absolutely.
I feel the same way. I can resonate with that just because I also said when I was younger, I'm like, I'm not the type to be sitting at a desk somewhere. You know, I want to be free, and I want to use my creativity to, you know, allow me to just, you know, kind of live and live vicariously through the dreams that I've had as a kid. I'm questioning the audience right now. Penny Thompson says, yes, I've watched all seasons of Johnson, and it's a great show.
Thank you, Penny.
So yeah, let's go ahead and get into that conversation, which, by the way, Johnson is what brought us together, right? Shout out to the amazing men of Johnson. There's actually a lot of men, but specifically right now, Deji LeRae, Thomas Q. Jones, Philip Smithy, Derek Brady, those are all my guys. And I had met all of them previously years ago, and they wound up reaching out to me for the very first season to do the after show, to host the after show on Johnson. And then the opportunity opened up for me to actually come on board and do the official pre-show, right? And so that was really, really awesome. And I think that is season 2 is what brought us together. Talk to me about the fact that now that is Bounce TV's, that is the highest rated show that they have. Talk to me about Johnson for those people who don't know about it. The reason that Andy played brother is because honestly, you actually get that vibe. You get that feeling when you watch the show. So talk to us a little bit about it.
Sure. So Johnson is about 4 brothers just living life like brothers do. They never show on TV. 4 beautiful, physically beautiful, internally men who are literally just trying to be the best people they can be and trying to figure it out all together. I like to say, if you were to take like The Brothers or The Best Man or The Wood and make it a TV show, it would be Johnson.
Absolutely.
It's that, you know, it's those the beautiful complexities that Black men are, the struggles that they deal with in as Black men in America, their relationships with each other, the women that they deal with, the communities that they're in, and how they navigate it all. And I was attracted to this project because I have 5 brothers, a whole daddy, uncles, cousins, you know, all of it, best friends, ex-boyfriend, you know, the whole thing. And so actually Thomas Q. Jones was the one who presented the project to me. And I loved it immediately because it resonated so well with me. He had no idea of the types of men I had in my life and that it would resonate that way. But to me, it was such a compelling narrative because in my mind, you know, Black men need to see themselves that way. Black women need to see Black men that way. Little Black boys need to see Black men that way. Little black girls need to see Black men that way. They need to see each other that way. And then also everybody else needs to see them that way too. I'm so tired of the narrative that media typically portrays Black men as the thugs, as the deadbeat dads, as this and that. Sure, that exists in our culture too, right? But in my life, that is not the norm. Like, sure, I have uncle and cousins, you know what I'm saying? But that exists in everybody's race. But for reasons we know, they beat that thing over the head when it comes to Black men, and then also they make Black women look bad too. And so this particular narrative to me was so important to tell because we just don't see ourselves this way. And I love that it's a dramedy because life is comedic, and it's situational comedy. And so it's a dramedy because life is funny, you know? But we're seeing like these 4 different types of personalities all like coming together, and they're legit best friends. And that's just how the Black community is. Like, you might have one quirky one and one jock and one nerd, and you know, they're all best friends, and it makes sense because they all have commonalities, especially as Black men. But everybody brings something very dynamic and brilliant to their scenario. So this show is just, it's a love letter to Black men. And that's why that song was so perfect coming into here, because that is how I feel. You know, I love Black men. Like, I've only dated Black men. I have black men in my family who are just the most beautiful. Yeah, listen, black men are the most beautiful species of man, okay? And particularly African American men are the ones that everybody in the world look to for the sauce. As they should, because they got it, okay? Period.
Yes, absolutely. Lavelle Delone says he's seen every episode and now it's streaming and have turned a few friends onto it. I love to hear that.
Thank
you are
Lavelle.
Correct. Definitely streaming on Hulu
Yes,
now. So a much broader audience as well, which is a beautiful thing. It's deserving. It's deserving for all the reasons that you just mentioned. Obviously, I think that it needs to be promoted more.
Absolutely.
I do want to know. So, Penny Thompson says 4 brothers living their best lives, supporting each other. Absolutely.
Yes.
It is such a great show because there are so many things that they talk about that are so needed to, I mean, it's cool because, I mean, as you mentioned, I love black men as well. I mean, I relate in so many different ways. And to sit there and feel like you're sitting in the midst of, maybe a living room or something, and you're listening to what black men talk about, like, the positivity, some of the struggles that happen when we talk about relationships and business. You see business owners, there's so many different types of things that you get with this show. So I'm very happy to hear that it is streaming on Hulu, but also when we come forward, I want to know, and the people got to know, what's happening with the next season of it. We're going to talk about that and see if you could, if Risha could sprinkle a little something on what's happening with the next season, if we're going to see another season, as well as the other shows that you are working on and the other projects that you're working on. Because I feel personally, Risha, like there are some really big things coming up in your future now. I mean, don't get me in my prophesying bag.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate that.
I feel it. I do. We're going to talk about the rest of obviously everything that you have going on the other side. But right now we've got news, traffic, and sports. You are listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay there.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Lil Rel Howery. Right now, you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. That's right. The Raw Report.
More of The Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Democrats have their sights set on Florida after the state Supreme Court ruled that a 6-week abortion ban can take effect. The court decided the abortion ban can go into effect May 1st, but also ruled an initiative to codify abortion rights can be on the ballot in November. The ruling comes as Black House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries is leading a congressional field hearing in Fort Lauderdale on reproductive rights. The Biden campaign, meanwhile, said it believes President Biden can win the state in the general election, as abortion rights will be front and center this election cycle. Some Illinois residents are demanding that Village of Dolton Black Mayor Tiffany Henyard step down amid rising tensions and disruptions at a recent village board meeting. Residents are frustrated with the lack of transparency regarding village funds, lawsuits, and alleged misconduct by an unnamed village trustee, and also a work trip to Las Vegas. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Over in Mid-City, a 2-car accident remains on the off-ramp to La Cienega Boulevard on the 10 East, causing heavy traffic flow up to 30 minutes currently from 20th Street. As you continue onto the westbound side through Santa Monica, a 3-vehicle accident is now blocking the center lane of the 10 West before 4th Street, and heavy traffic is currently from 20th Street as well. Heavy traffic continues in recovery back in Griffith Park on the 134 East before Riverside Drive Victory Boulevard split, as a hit-and-run accident's been cleared, and 10 to 15-minute traffic jam in recovery runs heavy. And in Culver City, watch for a stall on the 405 North at Venice Boulevard, blocking the second lane from the left, with a slight heavy delay in recovery from Washington, Culver Boulevard interchange.
Opportunity lives, works, and plays here in America's largest county. San Bernardino County has always been the biggest, and now they're the best. More national awards for public service than any other county in America. Join the winning team and see more at opportunity.sbcounty.gov.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Despite Monday night's loss to UConn in the NCAA women's basketball tournament, the future is very bright for the USC program. ESPN.com ranks USC #1 among the nation's recruiting classes coming in for next season. 3 of the players signed by USC coach Lindsey Gottlieb are playing in tonight's McDonald's High School All-American game in Houston, including Kennedy Smith of Rancho Cucamonga. Smith was the #1 recruit in California. The other 2 All-Americans are Avery Howell of Boise, Idaho, and Kaylee Heckel of Long Island, New York. It looks like USC will have a lot more talent next season to put around All-American Juju Watkins. The Dodgers are at home tonight against San Francisco. The Angels are at Miami. The Angels are 2-2 in their first season with manager Ron Washington. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@kbla1580.com. That's advertising at kbla1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got your Black.
I feel occasional burning and stabbing in my hands as I age.
I sometimes feel numbness and tingling in my feet as I get older.
It's starting to get in the way of doing what I love.
At Nervive, we hear you, and we can help. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use.
Now that I know, I'm taking control.
Try Nervive Nerve Relief and say yes to healthy nerves.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. Visit jpmorganchase.com/racial equity and get the tools to help reach your financial goals.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Keeping you informed about what's really going on. Who's got next? And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
I like it. You are inside the Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Let's see.
Hello, my love. I heard a kiss from you.
You know I got a question for y'all. Who are the artists of this song?
Let's see here. We are, first of all, you're listening to the Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580. We are trying to figure out who this artist is.
Artists.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I'm trash when it comes to names. I be knowing the song though.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot. We should know this song.
I don't know if you should know this, but if you look at the chat, I think the homie Lavelle kind of put it out there already.
He said, I mean, we're talking Johnson. Is it the Johnsons? No.
The name of the group is the Brothers Johnson.
The Brothers Johnson.
I love it.
There we go. Andy, you all on the theme tonight.
Strawberry Letter 23.
Okay,
Yes.
very, very nice. Well, thank you. I do recognize the song, though.
Absolutely.
The song is good. Well, if you guys are just joining us, we are having ourselves a wonderful conversation with Risha L. Archibald, who is a producer, singer, actress, all the things. And when we were on the other side, I was asking about season 4 of Johnson, because I know that they are, obviously we have some fans who are in the chat. Brothers Johnson, Reggie White, you got it. Forrest Harrison, they got it. They said Brothers Johnson. All right, y'all on top of it. Okay, well, very good. We are very curious. Everybody, we're all curious. What is happening? Are we currently shooting season 4? What's going on with Johnson?
It has not been announced yet, so I can't really discuss it, unfortunately.
She said, back up, Robin. Okay. No problem.
Yeah, I can't talk about it, but yeah, I can't.
But okay, so you cannot talk about the logistics of it, but overall, I'm sure the storylines are developing. I'm sure it is going to be like an attention grabber in terms of like what's going on with the characters and how they're developing.
Absolutely, that's the brilliance behind Deji Luray. That brother. And for those who don't know who Deji Luray is, if you know the show, he's the one who plays Greg. So Greg is actually the creator and mastermind of this beautiful narrative. And he does such a masterful job of telling these stories. He knows these characters in and out, backwards and forwards. And he does such an amazing job, like you said earlier, of really tackling talking points that the Black community needs to talk about or that we talk about in our silos, right? But like we never see him on television. And so the thing I love about this show too is that we always like create these dialogues that people literally, I get text messages and phone calls and DMs, and it's like, oh, I'm glad y'all talked about that on Johnson because this or that and this and that. And so it is such a great story. And for those who haven't seen it yet, I think that you too will appreciate just how Deji is able to like flow these different narratives into the storylines. And it's just beautiful how these men tackle these different scenarios, sometimes individually and sometimes collectively. Like season, well, I don't want to give a spoiler for those who haven't seen it, but one of the things I love the most about season 3 is that they tackle therapy for Black men. And I remember watching it and just kind of tears welling up in my eyes, because I think a lot of times Black people in general keep a lot of things in because we've had to. Like we don't have the luxury of dealing with difficult situations and not moving on. Like a lot of folks, they deal with these harsh things and they're like, oh, I need to take a break or whatever. We don't have that luxury. We got to keep it pushing.
Right.
And so then it just builds up and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And therapy has always been such, a taboo topic in our community. And I'm so grateful that it's now becoming more of a thing for us. But it's still very difficult for a lot of people who are in their 60s and 50s.
Definitely,
So I'm just so grateful that we have a platform like Johnson that is encouraging Black men, and it's Black men encouraging Black men to go do that. And you're not belittling yourself. You're not looking like you're not a man. Like, these are things that we need as a people to really unpack all the stuff that's generational in our lives. I mean, it stems from before slavery on to this point, and that it becomes like a part of our genetics, unfortunately. And it's just things that we need to really, really discuss. So I love season 3 for that, and then it's gonna, or was it season 2? That might have been
For
season
the therapy.
That was season 2, wasn't it?
I believe it was season.
Was that 3 or 2? I don't know. One of the seasons.
I think it was season 2. I think it
yeah,
was
it
season
ended.
2.
Yeah, it ended. Yep, it ended with the therapy conversation in season 2.
Yeah.
That was the last episode. But yeah,
it's such a great show. But before I move off of that, I want to say and acknowledge that not only is it a great thing to have conversation among about Black men to and from Black men, but it's also an opportunity for women to just sit and listen into the minds of what's going on and how men, because it's a realistic look and a realistic conversation that happens on this show. It's very realistic. So I often say that, you know, sometimes it's just cool to be able to sit and listen to positive men talk about some of the struggles, talk about overcoming triumph. And again, some of those specific topics like therapy, Black, you know, fatherhood, what that's like. There was an episode where they were discussing the Water Boys, or I think in Atlanta, and it was just like, those are real things, current things that are happening, how we extend grace, how we deal with things in the Black community. So I think it's just really important for everyone, especially in our community, to watch.
Absolutely.
You were going to say?
And then also, like, kind of being the fly on the wall to see how Black men think.
Exactly.
And of course, they're not speaking for all Black men, but they're speaking for a lot of them. You know, and I think a lot of times, especially when it comes to dating or just that whole dynamic marriage or what have you, like, I think a lot of times women talk amongst women and men talk amongst men, and we all think we know what the other is thinking.
Exactly. Yes.
And so it's nice to kind of be, as a woman, a fly on the wall, because I have 5 brothers, right? And my youngest brother and I are 11 months apart, so we're very close.
Okay.
And so, like, all his friends were my friends. Like, I was always I was another bruh. Like,
Okay,
I was always the only girl in the crew, right? And so I was privy to those conversations growing up, and ended up being the same way in college too. But I was kind of like the other guy. And so I was hearing things that no other girl was hearing because I'm in these little pockets of men talking about what men talk about amongst each other. And so I didn't fall into certain things that a lot of other women were falling into, because I'm like, sis, all right.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
yes,
like,
yes,
I'm trying to tell you, sis, don't do it, because listen, you know what I'm saying? So I think that Johnson, I don't think it tells the secrets of Black men, but it gives enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Enough insight into the minds and depths of just the thought processes and the heart of Black men.
And what I love also is that, of course, these are younger Black men, but you have some of the OGs that come on the show. Let's talk about some of the OGs, and actually co-executive producers as well. Cedric the Entertainer, DL Hughley's on the show, Earthquake is on the show. I mean, and they come in there not only just adding to the funny, okay, because I know it's a dramedy, so they really add to the funny, but they drop knowledge. They drop knowledge. I love some of the scenes where DL is talking to them and kind of schooling them and just having those conversations. That must be, honestly, such a warm, like, heartfelt thing for you to sit back and not just watch, but also just be a part of.
Oh my God, it really is. And again, to the brilliance of Deji LeRae, he so brilliantly, like, pulls in the wisdom of our elders, or you know, those more seasoned Black men. And to me, that's so important, because I think far too often, you know, we're kind of, again, in our silos of our age groups or what have you, and a lot of times people forget about the ones who came before us. But it's like, we need that wisdom. We need the advice and the care and the compassion and the love from those who've been here longer than us. You know what I'm saying? So having DL Hughley and Earthquake, like, oh my God, like Cedric, like, like, we have 2 kings of comedy on this show.
Amazing.
Like, pinch
Absolutely
me.
amazing.
Pinch me.
Yeah.
Like, and DL is like a big brother to me now, you know, and that's my frat brother. So, you know, like, we hit it off immediately. And, you know, Earthquake too. And I mean, it's just really been such a blessing having this multi-generational viewpoint on life as a black man. And then we all, because we have DL and Earthquake, we have the seasoned sisters as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so like
yeah.
Keith's mama is in the show.
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
and Miss Sherry, who plays DL's wife, is in the show.
Yep.
So although they're not as big of roles as some of the gentlemen, it's still beautiful to see, you know, the black love on every level on this show. It's just, it's so good.
I know,
that's soul.
I know, you see the way she lights up talking about
Yes.
it. It's actually how I feel, and you know, to a certain degree, I had to tell myself, Robin, fall back, because I felt like every episode I was like sending messages and just being like, you guys, this was amazing or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know if y'all receiving so much. Like sometimes it could be like, thank you, but we don't need to hear from you every single episode. But I truly have love for the show. I have love for the brilliant minds behind the show. Deji is an incredible, like, human being as well. I think all of them are great human beings, which to me says a lot about the success that they're having, you know, behind and in front of the camera. You, of course. And when we come forward, I still want to ask you about Finding Happy. That's another show that you have that's on Bounce TV. You played a role. We actually got to see you in your acting bag, which was nice. And then I want to, you know, finish up our conversation talking about what's next for you, you know, what that looks like. And I know you trust God with a lot of things. That's one thing that you and I have in common. And are you trusting God about what's next, or do you actually have some plans and you're like, God, this is what I want to happen? So we'll talk about that when we come forward. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
There's only a few days left for open enrollment, starting at $0 a month. LA Care Covered offers the benefits you need to achieve your health goals. $0 preventive services, 24/7 virtual care and nurse advice lines, walk-in minute clinics, free fitness and nutrition classes, and more. Become a member of LA's most affordable health plan. Get a free instant quote at lacarecovered.org. Have open enrollment questions? Connect with us today at 855-222-4239. Find your affordable path to wellness with LA Care Covered today. Hey LA, be an eco-friendly hero. Join LADWP's Power Savers program and use your smart thermostat to help ease strain on the electric grid during peak electric demand. You'll save electricity while you lower your bill. Plus, as a power saver, you can get up to $185 in prepaid gift cards. Don't have a smart thermostat? No problem. Shop and sign up at ladwp.com/Power Savers program. That's ladwp.com/Power Savers program. To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelinos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
If you say you care about the community, you have to also care about the climate. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chucha's opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they They host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Rob Report. With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Now, I don't know what y'all over here talking about in our YouTube chat. All right, but it looks funny. I'm going to let y'all handle it. We are having our conversation with Risha, and she is fantastic, as you all know, and you can hear some of the things that she's done. We were just talking about Johnson, one of the shows that she's a part of, that she's executive produced. And she's one of the reasons we can thank for watching that show. I see all of you talking about how you've seen every episode. Well, we have Risha as one of the people to thank for that. Talk about Finding Happy. That's a great show also. That was just such a beautiful thing to watch, because I felt like as a woman I could relate in so many different ways to the main character, B. Simone, on that show. That's also on Bounce TV, right? You played Arnie,
yeah,
on the show. I was about to make sure your name Archibald with Arnie. Can you talk to us briefly about that show as well, and your involvement with it?
Sure. I was an executive producer on that show as well, and it actually was created by Yasmin Coleman and Angela Wells. Is loosely based on Yasmin's life, actually, and it's about a woman who is trying to figure it out. She's trying to find her happy. She's just now turning 36, and she's not where she thought she would be at that age. And so she's kind of like being hard on herself, but she's like, trying to figure it out, as a lot of us are still to this day.
Exactly.
Even if you look like you have it figured out, we're all, I think, as long as you're living, you're going to be trying to figure it out, because it's going to be, life is going to life, right?
That's right, yeah.
And so it's just a story about how we're watching this young lady find her happiness, and then it's not even just her, it's also everybody around her. So her mama, her auntie, her cousin, her daddy,
Yes.
And we have some heavy hitters in there. We have Clifton Powell as the dad.
Yes.
B. Simone played the main character, and she murdered that role.
She's so good.
Oh
in
my
that
God.
Role. Yeah.
My sorority sister Marquita Patrice, Kim Coles played the auntie, and so it was just amazing being around these heavy hitters. And again, B. Simone, that was her first time like being the lead character in a show, and she was amazing to work with. Like, I will forever try to find work for her, because she is such a joy to be around. She's so kind-hearted. She's always prepared. She asks great questions. She takes direction extremely well, and she just brings her all every time, no matter what's going on. And so I was screaming to the mountaintops, everybody who's listening, who's in casting, cast B. Simone, because she's amazing.
She really is. She's wonderful.
She's so great, and I just really love her. And so that's generally what the show is about.
Okay. We have a few minutes left on this show, and I definitely want to ask you about number one, what might be coming up for you? What are the hopes? Because you've been a part of some successful things, and as you put it, God has given you some things. He's also taken away some things, but it's all helped to kind of bring you to where you are now. But how has the success of what you've been a part of informed, maybe not even the success, but the projects that you've been a part of, how do they inform what you want to be a part of in the future?
I've been very selective on what I do.
Okay.
Because I recognize that having a platform is a gift.
Yeah.
And we have to be very responsible with that platform.
Yeah.
So I'm very careful about like what I put out into the atmosphere. And so the projects that I've been able to work on are very geared toward making Black folks look good. Also, they're educational. They are funny. They are just full of different dynamics that affect Black people in various ways, but all positive.
Yeah.
And even if there are some negatives to those things, it comes back to a point and a positive, right? And so my goal is to continue doing projects like that, and essentially, have my own production company. Like, I want to do things on my own and really be able to make decisions and operate business as I see fit. And so that's my ultimate goal. And I'm so grateful to be working with people like Eric Rohn and Cedric the Entertainer, as well as Cheo Coker, because those men they've been champions of mine, and I'm just eternally grateful for the opportunities I've been afforded through them. And they have all taught me, each and every project has taught me something different. And being on Johnson the longest, oh my gosh, like, I've grown leaps and bounds as a producer in that network television realm on the scripted side, because I also have done reality TV as well. And I also started an independent film and TV. So all of it informs each other, right? And I think ultimately it all is preparing me for my own thing.
Well, I told you before, I see so much for you on the horizon, not only because of the things that we said. Obviously, you have come from a very specific background that has helped to connect the dots to where you are now. But I just truly believe, because of the person that you are, the gift that you have, some of the things that I got to tell y'all this quick story. I got 30 seconds, but I'm going to tell y'all this story. We're making some coffee in the back, and Risha is helping me with logistics. She's like, okay. I mean, it was kind of funny. And I was like, well, you know what? Logistically, this is why you do what you do and why I do what I do. She is just I love the way your mind thinks. I love the human being that you are and the light that you shine. So let everybody know where they can find you online to keep up with you and your journey.
Sure. And thank you so much for all of that. You can find me on Instagram at It's Just Risha, at It's Just Risha, and I'm there.
There you go. And Risha is REESHA.
Yes.
Please don't hesitate to follow her. She is incredible, doing some incredible things. So thank you so much for coming on to the Raw Report. I'm so excited you finally came.
Yay!
You guys, thank you so much. I see you all inside of our YouTube chat. Tell me about the show, Johnson. Well, you got to rewind the show, DJ Black 909, okay, and check it out then. But you guys, I appreciate you all. My name is Robin Ayers, and remember, today and every day forward to be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Former President Trump has posted a $175 million bond in his New York civil fraud case brought by State Attorney General Letitia James, who is black. Trump posted the bond Monday night, preventing the possible seizure of his assets. The court lowered the bond from $454 million to $175 million last week and gave him